Hey everyone, Chris Sawyer here, and the Varietal Show is back. I am with Mark Orsi, and we are at Orsi Vineyards here in Healdsburg, Sonoma County, of course. It's like Little Italy here. Let me just put it real bluntly. Anytime you have people whose last names end with an I, O, or A in Sonoma County, chances are they're Italian. Go figure. Mark and I, we have this very common thread between us that we love Italian varieties. And this winery has really done so much to put these on the map here in California. And we got the really amazing chance to do something big, and we're going to talk about it in a few minutes, about Festa Italia. And that was just a few weeks ago. Man, it was good. But Mark, I want everyone to kind of get a little picture of you, your dad, and what the heck brought you here to Healdsburg?
It goes back to Guerneville. I mean, growing up as a kid, we used to go to Guerneville to my grandparents' place, and we were inspired by it. My dad loved it and always wanted to find a property to replicate that. And so he found his first place up Mill Creek Road in Healdsburg back in 1990.
That's amazing. So what we're tasting right now, let me just say one more thing about his dad. His dad liked beer a little bit, and actually was kind of big and was kind of like the vice president of Pabst Blue Ribbon. Did you hear me? Pabst Blue Ribbon?
PBR.
PBR. This man's dad.
Yeah.
And we got to do a great thing with Bernie, his dad, at the Festa Italia too. But when we were there on that panel together, he talked about a white wine. Tell us what we're drinking right here.
So this is called Biancolella, and we have named it Biancolella de Ischia because it comes from the island of Ischia, which is off the coast of Naples in Italy. Just a little bit further out in the water than Capri, which most people have heard of. Many haven't heard of Ischia, although it's gaining in popularity. We were in Ischia trying to track down my grandmother's roots, who was born there. So that was the impetus behind our trip, was trying to find her legacy. And in the process, we did find it, but we came across this wine at lunch one day, and we loved it. We asked for a local selection, and they brought us Biancolella, and it's just a refreshing, crisp white wine with very little aftertaste, and just has hints of citrus and melon, and it's just a beautiful wine. Pairs lovely with fish and seafood, shellfish, whitefish, and so that was we were determined to find it when we got back to the United States, and coincidentally, it was being studied at Davis for disease resistance, and so we got it out of quarantine a few years later, and now we have about 2 acres planted up in Healdsburg. So
pretty amazing. Yeah. I mean, everything that he said, he's absolutely right. This is amazing wine. You know what it makes me think of right off the bat is having prosciutto and melon with it right now. I just really want it really bad. And I'll also take some seafood. Of course, some oysters would be really nice. Maybe a little, maybe just a little bit of spice on that. But it's really good. And I mean, this is just fun. You guys have really done so much. How many different varieties do you work with from Italy?
We have now 11 different Italian varieties. We make 13 wines out of them. We just started making a sparkling wine out of this grape as well. It's first year, and then we're getting ready to make it for a second vintage, and we're using a little bit of Fiano in it as well, which is our other white Italian variety that we have. So, but then we make a Cerasuolo, which comes from the Montepulciano grape, one of our varieties. So those are the 2 different ones, but everything else is single variety, 11 different varieties.
Amazing stuff. When you come here to Orsi too, you really feel like Italy. There's the flag is in a forum out there on the top of a little kind of bar out there. It looks great. They've got amazing setup out here. It's just it's like a sea of vineyards flowing out that way too. And I gotta say, for the event that we did, which was Festa Italia, and I really appreciate you asking me to be one of the hosts of that, and we really had a great time. you know, just the people here with big smiles on their faces, being able to taste, we believe, over 60 different grape varieties that were bottled.
Amazing.
It was only 30 winemakers or 30 wineries that were represented here, but they had 60 different varieties here, you guys.
And there's more.
There's
they didn't
more.
Bring them all.
Yeah, we feel like the last thing we heard was about 100 varieties are now available in the United States, and we had about 60 of them here. It was a really amazing thing. What did you get out of that event?
Oh my God, it was such an unbelievable experience. You know, hosting it was twofold. I mean, it was one, to draw attention to Italian varieties, because people are always looking for new things, and these wines represent something refreshing, something new. So it was a way to just get everybody together, because what happens a lot of the times is you go to a tasting room and you're in search of Pinot or Cab or something that you typically drink, and the winery there at the tasting room will have one random Italian variety like Sangiovese
Or Barbera.
or Barbera, and you'll go, oh, let's try that, and if you like it, it's good. But it's just a one-off, and it's not something that you know, continue to drink night in and night out. But you come to an event like this, and it just lands you in all these different varieties, and you say, God, maybe I should incorporate these wines into what I do on a daily basis or a weekly basis, because they're really good wines. And one thing about Italian wines that I think is complementary is that they pair really nicely with food. They accentuate what you're eating most of the time, as opposed to commanding full performance like a big Cab or maybe an oak saturated Pinot. So a lot of the Italians are just really refreshing and a nice change of pace. So that was one thing I got out of it. The second thing I got out of it is just the satisfaction of seeing the Italian varieties get some media publication, media press. I mean, it's
well,
amazing.
and also just making consumers so happy. I've never seen that many smiling faces.
Well, there was a lot of good pizza too.
There's a lot of good pizza. Well, let me just say this. The seminar that I did had one of my favorite and dearest friends on it, Shelley Lindgren from A16 San Francisco, also Oakland, also all over the place. She's just amazing. She's also been knighted in Italy because of her knowledge of Italian varieties. She's really done a lot to get people to try new varieties in her restaurants. And she has her own brand. And, you know, she started with the whites. It was a Vermentino. She said, Chris, this is the grape variety that really changed my life. I was in Sicily and I had Vermentino, and it changed my life. She also has different varieties that she works with, and she was pouring those, but she was bringing out the pizzas that day, and those pizzas were good.
They were amazing.
They were amazing, and they can just bring it. And you know, Dan Petrowski, who was a part of that too, and his wine, you know, he was number one, I think it was 2017 that he got number one winemaker in California by Esther Mobley from the San Francisco Chronicle. And people thought, oh yeah, he just makes Cabernets, Napa Valley. Nope, he's really into white varieties, and he's done a great job. And hearing the story about how he came about this and why he does his stuff is because of his mother and her passion, or her like and dislike for white wines. And he came back and he created these things with Rivola Gialla and Chardonnay Cross and with Vermentino and all these kinds of things that he does. I mean, that was a great part. Then we get to your dad, and then we get into him and Mick Unti together. You want to talk about the two families of this county that have the most plantings of Sangiovese or any grape variety that's Italian.
Yep.
You got them next to each other. And those guys, I had to shut Mick after a while because he would just go on forever because he loves it so much. But your dad told some great stories too. It's real passion behind this. Think about it, you guys. When I say Italy, what does it make you think about? About a million things. About how great Italian food is, how different types of pasta are from different regions, and how different types of wine. This is the country that has the most grapes of them all. And the fact is that after, you know, until right after World War II, this was not a country. This was territories. This is not a formal country on the way that we look at it today. And a lot of people don't understand that it's not even 100 years old as a country. it's really the provinces that had their different grape varieties, and a lot of those things are, some of them were indigenous, and other ones were just brought in by Caesar. He went into these different countries, took them, brought them back. He already knew that his planters could do it. And so it's a really amazing thing that we're starting to see this here in California. And I think my biggest thing it's kind of a theory, but listen to this. If these great, the original pioneers that came here from Italy, if they would have brought bags of their cuttings, instead of just kind of being like, I just want to go there, I want to make money, I know how to farm, and these pears look great, and these apples look great. Zinfandel, that sounds great to grow. But if they would have brought their cuttings, think about this, you guys. If they would have brought the cuttings and propagated them all over here, you know that there'd be some mafia relationships here. Would prohibition have worked? If the mafia had been involved in it. I don't know, but we'll never know. But now we have all these great families like the Pedroncellis and the Raffanellis and all these kinds of people, the Sabragias and stuff, all these Italian families that really made Zinfandel so great. And now we have such a spread of all these new people that are making Italian varieties.
Yep.
Pretty amazing, huh, you guys? It's just a fantastic thing. So how many other, so you do Fiona, you do this, and any other whites?
No, that's it. We'll do sparkling now out of these, but that's it on the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to pour
now.
Montepulciano. So Montepulciano is its own grape variety, and it's also known for the region where it's from, which is actually just Tuscany, but you're going pretty much due east of Florence. And you're out there a ways, or actually from Siena. I guess it's more Siena that you're going direct east.
Abruzzo.
Abruzzo.
Not to be confused with Vin Nobile de Montepulciano.
Right.
Which is a different one.
Right, absolutely. So Montepulciano, not the same thing as Sangiovese. Sangiovese is the most planted red grape in Italy. Actually, you'd be surprised how much Cabernet Franc and Merlot is planted in Italy, and of course some of the Cabernet right there for the Super Tuscans. But really, when you get back to the history of this, what really got you guys into this grape variety?
This is just an all-around fun wine to drink. So it was just something we just needed to have. This is one of the first one before we really focused on planting the Italian varieties. This was part of the original plantings of our home ranch. So it's been up there for over 30 years. So these are almost technically old vines in nowadays. But it's just a great all-around wonderful wine to drink. A little fruit forward, a little jammy.
A little jammy, but also has almost like it's got almost a truffle-y kind of thing going on in the nose, with a little bit of blood orange peel.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
A little cherry, but and then you got a very balanced tannin structure on the back end, which is really nice. And again, going back to the food, a nice plate of pasta, maybe a pork chop or something. This is really just...
Or just do some risotto with wild mushrooms.
Or that, phenomenal.
You got me. Like I said, take a little blood orange here too. Take a little blood orange, peel that over the top of it. Next time we'll do food, because that's one more thing I do want to say. Well, I'll say a lot about these guys because I really love it every time I stop here. But they do have good products in here from Italy.
We do. We have the little
and
market.
you can even get the hats too. I got one of those hats.
Yeah, it's
the Orsi hats are cool, man.
I'll get you one.
No, I just think that this is a great variety. How I got to know it was Greg Graziano up in Mendocino brought in a cutting of it, and other people did. But your dad was really, I don't want to say ballsy, but pretty ballsy, in planting this grape variety, knowing that some people would not be able to actually pronounce it. Listen, why did Chianti Classico become so popular? Because saying Chianti is easy, but saying Sangiovese is a little bit different.
And the white we just made, Biancolella, people look at it and they say, what the heck is that? And it's hard. Yeah, they tell you not to.
Montepulciano. Yeah, it just makes me feel Italian.
Yeah, you say it well.
I say it pretty well. Yeah. I'm starting to talk like I'm Italian, you guys.
Hang out here for a couple more weeks.
I know.
We'll convert you.
It's great. No, it's got a natural richness to it, It's really, there's a savory note in there too. It's not spicy. It's just more savory, and I love that. It's got a real sense of where we're at. We are here in Dry Creek Valley. This is a really important thing, and I give a big shout out to our great friends, the wine growers of Dry Creek Valley. They are amazing. They are doing such a great job. We love them. Amanda and Lauren, they're just great people. They promote this area, but they also promote what is diversity here. And, you know, we can talk all we want about Zinfandel and what kind of put this place on the map, Petit Syrah, and then, you know, here come the Bordeaux varieties and Sauvignon Blanc, obviously. Dry Creek Vineyards are huge with that. But really the Italian stuff, it was already Italian. It was Italian people that lived here. And so it was a perfect fit, but you guys really have played such an amazing role in there. It's fascinating, you know? How does it feel, like, your success so far?
It feels great. I mean, it's really, the fruits of the labor are starting to be harvested now. You're really starting to feel the momentum. People are asking about it. More people are visiting us. More people are really catching on to what is I think a trend. Maybe, hopefully it's not a fad. It's more of a trend. I mean, but it's exciting. I mean, every day is a new day, and you know, the club continues to grow, the visitations continue to grow, and we keep looking for ways to make new products and kind of keep people entertained, really, for the most part. We do some events and things. You know, you saw the big yard out there. So that's all really exciting.
It's a really nice Italian style yard, you guys.
Ancient olive trees and the grass and vineyards all around.
It's really great. We got into the second part of that seminar where we had 3 more people, and you know, that was really interesting. We had Benesseri, we had Devero, Ridgely from Devero, and Matt from Benesseri, which is Napa Valley. There's a really good producer in Napa Valley, you guys, of Italian varieties, and that was Tiroldago and Sangiovese and Sagrantino together in one blend. I mean, like, wow, that's amazing. Who would have thought we could do it? No one said we can't do it in California. So that's the wonderful thing, is we're seeing some stuff. Have you done some crazy blends so far?
We haven't. You know, originally we had so little planted. We tried to stay true to the variety, but we are starting to experiment now and trying to come up with some blends where we could get some validation on those, but not yet. They're coming, TBD.
Yeah, and right after that, Devero had a really great blend of Sangiovese and Barbera, and those things, no one in the right mind in Italy would blend those two things together, but like we said, we don't have any.
Well, and it just feels like the whole winemaking experience in Italy is so different than California. You know, they're all about just get it in the barrel, get it produced, get it in the bottle, and get it out. And we take a little bit more time to kind of think about ways to grow it, to expand it, to change it. So,
and right after that was Mora Estate, and I got to say one thing for Fabiano. That guy, he has committed himself to making Amarone in America. If you know Amarone, it is a process where you pick the clusters and dry them till about February, and then you start making the wine. They are so concentrated. And his stuff was amazing, and it was just we had to have him on that panel.
He's great.
And these are the kinds of people who put their love and attention into these bottles. And he even paints every single front label. That's insane.
It's beautiful,
But you know what? He's a real deal, and I think that you guys will really get a lot more when you start exploring the California. You know, the things that we're doing up here and in different parts of Northern California. I'll say one thing, you know, Barbera, it's been proven here, and you got to give a lot of credit to the people up in the Sierra foothills for doing that. We did have some Sangiovese here before. A lot of people didn't even know we did because it wasn't really brought out that often. But these are the other grape varieties. I mean, Montepulciano, this is genius wine, you know?
Beautiful,
It's a really lovely, lovely
it's a
wine.
great wine,
So we're going to pour one more. So why don't we tell them about this little gem here?
This last one we have is called Schioppettino. And this is a grape that hails from the Friuli region, which is above Venice, a little bit close to the Alps. It was a grape that was literally almost extinct in Italy. One family saved it, and it is It is back in full force. It's a really interesting grape. We like to tell the story of how it contains the largest concentration of rotundinae, which is an ingredient in the grapes, ingredient that gives black pepper its spice, its smell and spice. So kind of like a Syrah, which has a lot of rotundinae in it. This grape has the same, except it's a lighter in complexion wine and grape. So it almost looks like a heavy Pinot when you have it in your glass, but it has so much character. It's so different than anything you're going to taste. I mean, it's a little bit drier on the front end, but then you get a little bit of a kick on the back end. It's really unique.
It really is. I mean, I love the spice on the nose. I mean, it's kind of got a clove kind of note to it too on the nose. Yeah, I mean, it's just fantastic. It's not like anything you've tasted from America, you guys.
It's a really nice wine.
What do you like to pair with this?
Pork chop.
Pork chop. But give us the inch thick.
Yeah, you got to get the double cut. Yeah,
double cut. Don't screw around with that thin stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah. Might put some rosemary on there.
Oh, for sure.
Marinate it in rosemary and
little risotto would be good too. Yeah.
Put some good vinaigrette with it in that little marinade. Some black, some like kind of balsamic would be kind of good.
Yep.
I could see us doing that. These are things you can do at home, you guys, and it's not just going to the Italian restaurants. But once again, when I bring up Italian restaurants, how much fun have we had at Italian restaurants? Everyone. If you haven't been to Italy, that's okay, because we have little versions of Italy right here in America, all over America, in fact. And I think that this is the kind of stuff that we have that's not from Italy, that's up there on the same platform with them now. And we've gone very fast. I would say it's been a 20 or some odd process. And I will say one thing, there was an organization called Italia, and it was a good organization. It lasted until about 2005, so it's been almost 20 years since it's been gone. And to be really honest, they were just focused on two grapes. It was really Barbera, and it was Sangiovese, and of course, Pinot Grigio.
Oh.
And remember, Pinot Grigio, you just feel Italian when you say it. You feel the same way when you say Vermentino, though. Now you're finding out, you guys. So, but it's just one of these things, it just wasn't going in the right direction. It wasn't promoted the right way. I think what we did and what I helped do with Festa Italia was so big.
Right.
I mean, it really showed where we're at, how we're going in directions we never even had before, and our food culture it really matches up with the food culture, not just of Italian style food, but California cuisine and all types of cuisine. There were things I wanted Vietnamese food with. I mean, but it's Italian varieties grown here in California. Isn't that interesting?
It's really interesting, yeah.
So, as far as where do you like to go out to eat?
In town here, should I divulge the names of the restaurants?
You can, of course, promote.
Well, Dry Creek Kitchen and Valette and Matheson, those are some of our go-to spots.
Well, that's my favorite of them. Yep.
Yes. And then I live down in Marin, so I go to the farm shop sometimes. And
I like Poggio a lot.
Poggio's good.
Sausalito, really good Italian. My great friend Amy's the GM there. She's
is that right?
Oh yeah, I've known her forever. Let's go to dinner.
Yeah,
there.
I'll do that. Yeah,
for sure.
But
but it's just it's a really special thing to think about all these types of food and wine pairings, because Italian culture and Italian everything, it has lots of different parts to it. It's not just everything is not the same there. And these varieties, we just haven't had them here in America. And now we do, and we've got success showing already. And I can't say enough about Festa Italia. And you can find that Festa Italia Healdsburg on Instagram and a lot of the things that we did. And you'll find this video, obviously. You can show this video to a lot of different people and talk about how great Orsi Family winery is and all these kinds of things. But it's just really something that you guys need to watch. I was on a radio show this morning and they said, "Chris, what's trending now?" I said, Italian varieties, from America. And it's really true. Cabernet costs a lot of money. It's also a grape that doesn't last that long. It lasts about 40 years if it can even make it that long. We don't even know the potential of some of these grapes here.
Yeah.
And that's what's so great about it.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. The Montepulciano is almost 30 years old and it still produces unbelievably. It's amazing.
It's getting its California moves on now.
It's getting its groove on. Yeah.
It's why it's a fun thing and why it's, you know, you can't eat enough Italian food. You guys know that. But you can't drink enough Italian wines. And so we're helping you here by bringing you more options from California.
So just a little fun story. My dad's motto was never make more wine in a year than you could drink because you otherwise have to throw it away. So I need help because we're making too much wine now.
Yeah.
We can't drink it all. I'm trying, but we can't.
I'll help him. I mean, I will. I know your dad made a lot of money saying that same thing to the people that drank Pabst Blue Ribbon.
For sure.
Yeah, and so that's why Pabst produces a lot. So these guys they're here for you to produce more if you just buy them out all the time. So I just want to say, you know, it was a true pleasure being there with you, being part of this, and I can't wait to do more shows with you and your dad.
Really fun, yeah.
But you know, you guys, these are great varieties that we're starting to get to know so well here. And I completely, if you live in the Bay Area, you need to go to A16 and you need to just order wines off that list.
Yep.
They're too good to pass, and you'll understand, like, wow. And the most important thing is they're not the most expensive wines at all. They're really affordable, lovable. You know, they're not, you know, Pinot Noir is even getting up there a little bit in the pricing, you know, 65, 75 on retail, which means it's going to be 130 on wine list, where you can buy a bottle of white and a bottle of red just to do a few courses at A16, and you have to eat their pizzas, because if you don't, we will. Pretty much.
And we did.
And we did. And everyone did. And everyone, there were a lot of smiling people here, you guys. We also had gelato here. We had a true Italian accordion player. Who was like, you know, and it was like so authentic. Authentic.
Yep.
We said it at the same time, authentic.
Because it was.
It was. That's the feel that you get here at Orsi, and it's the feel that you're getting from these wineries that are really producing some extraordinarily delicious wines that really go with such a wide range of foods. They're not super expensive. They're just lovable and worth more than you pay for. And that's what I always want in great wines. So,
yep.
Thanks once again, my brother.
Thank you.
And
it was great.
This is really super fun. And cheers to you and
this is
the family.
awesome. Yeah, cheers.
Thanks once again for tuning in to
Thank you guys.
the Varietal Show. We'll be back again next week. Cheers.
Bye.